Welcome back, Rockstars, to a brand new video. Today we will be going over how to build a Pokemon team, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Pokemon teams can be hard to build with so many typings and so many different attack styles with speed, physical defenses, and special defense overall. It can make it really challenging. When building a Pokemon team, you want to balance it. It's kind of like a 3v3 scale where you don't want it to tip too far or the other, so you want half of the team to balance out the other half of the team. But to start off, we need to go ahead and choose our starter Pokemon from either a fire, grass, or water type. Let's go ahead and let's say we're going to choose a Charizard because a Charizard is a fire type Pokemon and he's actually fire flying once he fully evolves. From at this point, we want to start by countering Charizard's weaknesses as a fire flying type. Charizard's main weaknesses come down to include being 4x weak, so 4 times weak to rock type because he's a fire flying type, 2 times from electric, and 2 times from water. Because of the typings that Charizard's weak to, picking up a grass type would actually counter both the rock and water types as well as resist the electric type weakness that he has. But with the grass type as well, you have to remember that most grass type Pokemon actually have a dual typing, usually being a poison type, so it opens up more weaknesses. With most grass types being both grass and poison typings, the weaknesses that open up include flying, fire, ice, and psychic type attacks. With these weaknesses, choosing the right Pokemon can counter 3 out of 4 of these typings, and with a rock Pokemon, it counters everything except the psychic type, and your other gained weaknesses including grass, fighting, and water type weaknesses because of he's a rock type Pokemon, it are already covered by the simple fact of you having a grass type and a flying fire type overall, so you don't have to worry about your weaknesses with that on top of it, since the first 3 Pokemon all cover each other almost perfectly. Now, you can't cover every single weakness with so many Pokemon types, but with your first 3 all covering each other in their weaknesses, the team building strategy changes from a bit where you can't just focus on only Pokemon types. With Pokemon, it's very important to have a variety of physical and special attacking Pokemon, otherwise a tanky Pokemon for a physical or special attack can stall out and wipe your entire team. From this point on, you want a tank Pokemon yourself to be able to eat hits, but you have to be able to decide a physical defense or special defense tank. You don't want both, or you won't have enough power on your team to actually do any real damage. Now, most tanky Pokemon come down to being either a normal type like Snorlax, Miltank, or Blissey, or a steel type like Metagross, Bastiodon, or Skarmory. With the Pokemon types of a fire, flying, rock, and grass poison that we have chosen already, something like a Metagross would be the best with a high physical defense and a high physical attack, so it also can take hits as well as double up on doing actual damage. Plus, with it being a psychic type, for example, that means you don't add on to your bonus weakness of fighting versus steel, including everything else, so you don't have double up on a fighting type weakness, which is really good for you, and it covers everything else that we have. Plus, with it being a psychic type, that also covers the fighting type weakness that we already have specifically, which we haven't taken care of yet. Now, with 4 out of your 6 Pokemon team members already being chosen, most that we don't have are fastest Pokemon in the world. Usually what you're gonna get are moderate speed Pokemon in the beginning, and you're gonna have to choose something especially if you want something fast, because you're gonna need something that's a lot faster. But the Pokemon can't just be fast. It can't be like an Alakazam, because if you have that Metagross, you're opening you up to a double weakness of bug and dark typings, where that wouldn't be a good thing. Where the best thing you could do is choose a speedy fast Pokemon that's also extremely powerful, because you do not want to lack any power. That's a Pokemon typing that you don't already have. Now, if we're looking for a new typing that's both fast and powerful, something like a Jolteon would be a very good choice. With being an electric type that covers flying and water type Pokemon with almost a guaranteed to go first every time, because with a perfect stat Jolteon, he'll have over 400 speed to his stats, which is absolutely insane when you think about it, actually. So with that guaranteed first almost every time, that's really good. And because of the rest of your team has already been decided, his weaknesses of both a rock and ground types have already been covered by the rest of your team, so you don't have to worry about choosing a Pokemon specifically to balance out any new weaknesses. Now, at this point, I know this has been very fast, but it's also very simple when you think about it. We're on our final team member, and you can choose almost any Pokemon you want at this point. What you really want to avoid is doubling up on the same typing you already have on your team or any more weaknesses that you already have. With us having currently with our typings that we have chosen, our biggest weakness is most likely fighting, because we have you know, just a rock type, and overall anything else steel, even if it's psychic, because you might set up some different moves that you don't need, or it's just a steel type overall, so you don't have the Metagross steel psychic typing. Fighting with our current weakness of our current team is the biggest thing that we have, but if you've done it right overall, you shouldn't have anything with more than 2 weaknesses, so you should have at max a weakness that on 2 Pokemon. So like with Charizard being a fire flying type, he's weak to water, and then you also have a rock type weak to water, right? So that would be 2 water types that are covered by both the Victory Belt and the Jolteon already, so you don't have to worry about that. Now adding that that last Pokemon, if it adds another water weakness, that's where you want to avoid that, and that can be really tricky. Something like a normal type could be very good, because normal types only have a single weakness, being fighting types, and with water and fighting being our biggest weakness, that might not be the best choice overall currently for our team. But for your team that you decided, because we're not going over specific Pokemon only, we've used Charizard as a starting example because he was doubly weak to rock types and it needed to be harder to overall build the team. While something like a dark or a bug type can cover both psychic and fighting types, but one of the best typings to have would be a dragon type, as dragon types are usually one of the most powerful Pokemon, as they come in as pseudo legendary. So that means outside of legendary Pokemon, they have the best base attack stats or special attack stats, whatever they're better in, and you don't have to worry about how powerful they're going to be. Now with dragon being weak to dragon in itself, ice, and then fairy having we have no effect on fairy, we don't have to worry about any other typings, and that's actually really good thing, because ice, dragon, steel, fairy, those are the 4 weaknesses of a dragon type Pokemon, while anything else that we have on our team can currently cover the dragon type, or the dragon type itself can cover that. Ice is actually fairly easy to cover, as say we're using Charizard like we have been, it's a fire flying type, because even though flying types are weak to ice, it's a fire type, so it completely resists it, making it a neutral attack on it. And it's also weak to fighting types, so ice types are usually one of the worst typings to get unless you need it specifically to counter some like a dragon or a ground type Pokemon, but we cover all of that. And rock types also outdo ice types, so for that part, you don't have to worry about it too much. Now, fairy types can be tricky because you don't have too much that are extremely super effective on them. Steel is super effective on them, so with that Metagross, if that's what you've chosen, is really good. But say you don't have a steel type and you have a fairy type that you have to go against. That's no big deal, because as long as you don't pull out your dragon, it's not a big deal, because fairy has super effective moves against dragon, and dragon has no effect on fairy. But everything else is going to be neutral on each other, so you can just cover it that way, and it doesn't have to be guaranteed super effective as long as it can do solid damage. So with that overall, having that dragon type, it actually is a really nice, because it opens up almost no new weaknesses that you have to double cover for. It gives you a very solid Pokemon overall, and on top of that, you just have a well-balanced team, because by the end of it, you're going to have such coverage that you don't have to worry about it, especially if you choose a different typing. By this point, you should have a mix of physical attackers, special attackers, and 1 special defense or 1 physical defense Pokemon. And once again, you can always switch these out in overall, but you have to remember that each and everything balance each other's out. You don't want anything tipping the scale too far in one way, or it's going to ruin the entire balance of the team. But that's all I have for you guys today. I hope this video did well for you guys to help build a Pokemon team yourself. If you guys did enjoy, please hit that like button and subscribe down below. It shows the channel and YouTube a lot that we're doing a great job, and I very much appreciate it. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today, and I'll see you all later, Rockstars. Peace.